Hey everybody, good afternoon, good evening. It's a little after 5 o'clock here on the 6th of January 2021, and I'd like to do a real quick update on a couple different stocks here. I'm going to take a look at Workhorse. I'm going to take a look at Zoom, and I'm going to take a look at Bitcoin because why not? Everybody's panicking, everybody's freaking out right now. And I moved a lot of stuff to cash earlier. I want to talk a little bit about what I see going on in the market, what I think is happening here. And of course, before I get into any of it, as you all know, this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. You're responsible for your own trades, managing your risk, doing your own research. I'm just giving my opinion on the market. If you'd like to have access to our Discord, there is a link in the video description. You can scan the QR code. We want to have you in our server communicating with all of us and sharing our thoughts and ideas on what's happening in the market. Our goal is to make money, to manage risk appropriately, and that's what we educate. And so let's go ahead and take a look at the charts. I'm going to start here with Bitcoin. I'm going to work my way into Workhorse and Zoom. Those are the two I kind of want to focus on today because I think both of them have really good prospects for some significant upside. Workhorse more than Zoom, but we'll talk about those. So let's take a look at Bitcoin. All right. So still following plan. This does appear that we are going to be trying to make our way up to 40,000. It would make a whole lot of sense for us to find ourselves up there. Basically doubling where we were at 20,000. Finding ourselves somewhere between 40 and 41,000, I think, is likely where we're going to find a local top, do a little bit more of a corrective pullback. Let me go to a 4-hour here. And then I actually think we're going to find ourselves up to at about 45,000. I think that's probably going to happen. We're going to have to kind of wait and see how this all plays out, but it looks like that's what we're setting up for. We had basically some resistance here, 35,000, just shy of 35,000. We had a little bit of a pullback. It all got absorbed, and now we are consolidating above where that prior high was, and we created a new high not that long ago. So I've got no reason to believe that Bitcoin's going to find its way up here to 40 to 41,000 before we see a little bit more pullback. Then we find ourselves up here at this negative 382, which is going to be sitting at about 45,000. Let's just do a fib pull on this from our wave 2 to where I think wave 3 is going to stop, which is going to be approximately here at about 41,000. Pull back to the 382, so this could be a pullback to basically right where we're at right now. So up, down, get that last move up. It looks like that is more than likely what is going to happen. So I think for right now, this is a good play for right now. I'm just kind of hanging on. I've got a lot of spot. I don't have any leveraged long positions up here. One thing that I have said is, leverage long up here is about as dangerous as leverage shorting up here. If you were in leverage short, even 10x leverage or anything like that, you're constantly finding yourself significantly losing money, and so I just don't recommend it. So with Bitcoin moving up, still taking a look at this, Bitcoin dominance is starting to find some support here. Wouldn't surprise me one bit to see this guy retrace, which is going to be, not good for alts. Not good for alts yet. Okay, so let's go to a weekly here for a moment. Let me zoom out. Let's just take a look at this for just a moment. What I saw here is a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here into the 3, correct down to the 4. And again, we measured the bottom of this 2 to the top of this 3. We came right back to the 382, which means I believe Bitcoin's going to find its way all the way up here at about 85%. Now, are we getting some altcoin relief? Absolutely. We're seeing some fantastic gains on alts. But I'm cautious for Bitcoin dominance making its way up here anywhere between 78 and 85%. Up here, this is where I'm really going to be getting pretty deep in alts. And when I say that, I mean I'm going to be diversifying. I'm not going to be throwing everything at one asset. I'm going to be pretty aggressive, though, on the alt positions that I take and allowing myself for some volatility loss, because I think this is going to retrace even more. It's going to retrace the entire move. So for right now, this looks pretty good for Bitcoin to continue moving up, which means alts are probably not going to perform as well, even though they have been performing very, very well over the last, week and a half. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at Zoom. All right, so this is something that we've been looking at on our Discord, right? So again, we're looking at the weekly. Let me just flip out to a daily here for a moment because we've got a little bit of a channel on here. All right, so from this we've got our 1, 2, 3, moving down here for the 4. Now we're finding some support right now at the 236. So I've got this potentially coming down to the 382 down at the beginning of February. Right, very possible we find ourselves down here, but I actually think that Zoom could find its way sometime in the future up to about $1,000. Okay, so I think there is significant upside potential, especially if Zoom finds its way down here at this 382, which has high confluence with this channel that we've got. That's a 300% gain. If this is a wave 4, we'll give ourselves a little bit of leeway. You know, maybe you give yourself maybe 8%. That's a lot, but we're talking about 300% gain here. That's assuming that this fails, and this fails the 236, and it does come down here to the 382. Okay, so again, looking at this, and I'm looking at a log scale because this is an asset that has been very volatile. When you have a volatile asset, that's when you move to your logarithmic scale from your arithmetic. But anyway, we've got our 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 3, and then we're pulling back. All right, so let's just measure this. I'm going to go to a 4-hour now. I'm going to take a look at this channel. I'm going to focus on just this channel that we are currently in, trying to make some sense of it using my trend-based fib extension tool, starting up here at the top, working our way. We've got this ABC, ABC, and then what do we have? And I'm going to go to the arithmetic scale. And then down here at the bottom, we've got the 100. Okay, we've got the 100 down here, which means very likely we will find ourselves coming back down here to 263. Taking 263, going back to log, because we're going to be looking at the longer term scale here, taking it from 263, you know, 263, 250, somewhere in this range, start layering. Okay, start layering, because taking this guy up to $1,000 for a 300% trade, that'd be enormous. That'd be great. Okay. So yeah, Philip, I'm glad you caught on to the tip with the log scale. When you have an asset that is very volatile, has had explosive price action, and I would say that Zoom is one of those. If I go off of log into arithmetic, I mean, just look at this. It is very, very difficult to take a look at all of this price action that happened down here below $100. Once it broke above $100, it shot to almost 600 very, very quickly. Okay, and it's very hard to visualize this all on a chart. And Fibonacci, your trend-based fib extension, your Fibonacci retracement, they're valid on both. So look for confluence on both. And I think we're finding that confluence on the log scale. We're finding the 382, which when we're talking about our Elliott wave pullback target down here for a wave 4, that's going to be at 382. But it just so happens on your arithmetic, when you're taking this move, it's a short-term move that we're measuring here. Move down, get the pullback. That 100 has high confluence with this same area down here at 250 to 260. All right, so watch what happens down here at 250 to 260. I'm going to put alert right there at 255. We will come back to this guy more than likely. I mean, unless it happens next week, possible this happens next week. Anyway, if we find ourselves down here, I am not going to be afraid to buy. I am going to be a buyer down here, and there's no doubt about it. I'm going to be all over it if we come back down here. Both on log and arithmetic, it looks like that's going to be a fantastic place to be buying. It would be really great if it does happen next week. I'll be more than happy to wait a little while, but your upside target for Zoom is going to be $1,000. $1,000 for your long-term goal on Zoom for a nice 300% trade. Now, this is long-term, right? I'm not saying this is going to complete by June 18th. I'm not saying this is going to complete by July 19th. This could take a while. This could take a long time. So only put in this what you are willing to risk for an extended period of time, because this money is going to be tied up. So keep that in mind. All right, let's take a look at Workhorse. Workhorse. All right, we're going to go log scale. We're going to go to the daily here. Okay, so let's zoom out. Actually, I think I probably need to go to maybe even a weekly for this so that I can get it all to fit. I'm going to close that guy. We're taking it off the bottom here. I'm going to go to a 3-day. That's not going to be based on the weekly. It's not going to be based on the daily. So a 3-day is going to kind of be like semi-weekly. So anyway, just looking at this from this perspective, and I'm looking at a log scale. I may need to adjust some of my touches here. So let me just tag this to the bottom right there. Tag this to the bottom right here. Just going to try and get as close as I can. I'm going to zoom out here just so I can show you what I did. So I basically took this guy and I found a lot of confluence with these levels here. They match the same angle as these touches that we found down here, which is why I favor this. Okay, and we're taking a look now at the median, and we're taking a look at the 25%. So we'll call this the 25%, the 50, and then the 100, realizing there's a 75% that's in here that we currently do not see. So this channel that we've created, we're taking a look here at the median as an upper target, okay? And today was not so bad. This week has not been bad. This week for Workhorse has seen a 19.57% gain. It's been a pretty good week. It's been a pretty darn good week for Workhorse, okay? Do we come back down here to 929? Probably not. Can we come back down here to 1475? I mean, it's possible. But for right now, it looks like we want to keep moving up. So again, I know that I've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So this wave 2 happened pretty quick. It went over about 3, 6, 9 days. This wave 4s usually take longer than wave 2s. So we've got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 28. Yeah, we've got like 30 days here. So we've got about 30 to 33 days that we took to complete this correction. So that makes sense. Now we go up from here, okay? Now our upside target, I'm looking at this -236, I'm looking at this -382, but really what I'm looking at is somewhere around $88 to $100. I don't know how long it's going to take for this to happen, but I'm going to be watching up here because probably we're going to get a rejection, but we're going to be looking for what happens here at this 1618, which is going to be at $103, and it very well could be that we eke our way through here. Just because we have a trend line here doesn't mean that that's where the price stops, right? We could find ourselves poking up and through, and then we get the rejection. We come back down here before we see the price move up again. But for Workhorse, I mean, people are going to think I'm absolutely crazy for saying this. But I can totally see Workhorse making its way up to anywhere between $700 and $1,000. Again, how long is this going to take? We're talking years, all right? So from where we're at right now, and again, you have to give yourself some volatility, wiggle room for a trade like this. But again, we're taking a look at this guy out, maybe the end of 2022. Heck, maybe it happens quicker than that. Maybe it happens quicker. But targeting $730 for a 2,946% gain, but now what's your risk? Like obviously getting in down here at 1474 would have been fantastic from a risk perspective, but this sucker is only $23. So you have to give yourself more area for a stop loss. So 16%, get out here, then hop back in at 1474. Get out at 1971, get back in at 1474. But ride this guy up to $730 for a 2,946% gain. So let's just put this into perspective, right? When we're talking about putting small risk on something ultra long term like this, because this is something that's super long term. All right, so let's say this thing could go to $722. Let's say you put $200. You're going to basically be getting 9 shares, right? At 23.65, 9 shares, that's $212.85. We're talking about, again, 2,946% times 2,946%, turning that $212.85, if my math is right, to $67,721. Now, let me just put this into perspective, guys. This is not an endorsement to go all in. I never ever talk about going all in. This is not something that you put a full position size at, because we're talking a 16.91% stop loss. Your risk of stopping out on this is pretty great. Okay, we're going to be hopping back in down here 1474. This is not an endorsement to hold to 1474. Do not do that. Okay, right? This is not something that's saying, yes, we're absolutely going up here to $730. Do I think it can go up there? I absolutely think it can go up there. Do I think it will go up there? I'm willing to put $212.85 on the line to say that, yeah, it could potentially go up there. To turn $212 to $67,000, yeah, that could happen. All right, I hope I'm making myself clear. Put a comment in the YouTube chat and let me know that you understand that I am not telling you to put your entire account here in Workhorse. Let me know that you understand that I'm telling you that we're talking about buying a few shares. I'm literally talking about buying 9 shares of Workhorse, spending $212.85. And I would be willing to let that amount go to zero. If I'm talking about buying leaps on Workhorse, I'm talking about having much greater risk on this. Easily, this thing could go down 50%, 70% on an option. I'm not doing an option because I don't know how long this is going to take. This could take 3, 4, 5 years. But look at this. Like, I would be so happy to look back at this video 3 years from now, finding that this price is hovering up here at $300-400, and we can say, you know what, we bought that thing when it was 20 bucks. And that dumb YouTube guy, he told me to buy, and I bought, and shoot, look at this. Look at what I've got. I've turned $200 into $30,000. I've turned $200 into $60,000, right? And maybe my math is off. Maybe my math is off here, but actually, I think my math is off. It's not 6,271. Hold on. Let me get these numbers right, because 100% would be times 2. So this is really times 30. So 212.85 times. Let's just do it an even by 30. That still turns $200 into $6,300. So sorry, my math was off on that. So it doesn't look as appealing. Apologies for that. I had my math off. But at any rate, you're still turning $200 into several $1,000s. Okay. Your stop loss. Now I see Philip, you caught it just over $20. If you caught it just over $20, I mean, you got it in a really good time. Right, so let's just take a look at this. Let's say you did catch it right at 20 bucks. Okay, let's say we got it right at $20, $19.90. That's close enough. Now your stop loss can be sitting somewhere down here. You have less risk, but your reward is actually greater if it does make it up there. So now you're talking about 3,567% if it makes it up there. Every couple dollars down here that you can buy in lower is going to make your potential gains that much greater. Okay. So this is what I'm looking at on Workhorse. Time is going to be what you need on this. Options do not afford you as much time as we will need on this. This, more than likely, this is probably going to move sideways. This could be a flag that we sit in, right? We could be creating a little bit of a pennant here. We could find ourselves coming back down here to 1737. So I'm not saying buy now. I'm saying on the dips. On significant dips, I would be nibbling at Workhorse, because your potential to the upside is not anything that you should be afraid to shake a stick at, because I mean, look at this. And actually the 2618 is sitting up here at $1,500. So I think Workhorse is going to $1,500. I mean, it depends. on company acquisitions. It depends on forward guidance from the company. Lots of things are going to factor into this. And I am not a news trader. From a technical standpoint, I could see the potential for this going that high. But it all depends on all of the stuff that happens in the background. So this is my thought on Workhorse. This is a pretty serious trade, and it's really not a trade in my opinion. This is more of an investment, but I think that this has huge potential to the upside. And we're just going to have to see. We're just going to have to see what happens. Yes, I do think it's going to pop up to $100, but I think once it breaks through 100, I think it's going to be exponential. The next thing after 100 is going to be 200, then 400, then 500, trying to break through 500. Then it's going to be 750, then 1,000, and then we're going to be talking about splits, stock splits, to lower the price, and that's going to make this even more appealing to investors, even more appealing to retail and traders, if that happens. All right. So these are the thoughts that I have on Workhorse. This was the thought that I had on Zoom. Zoom, again, looks good if it can make its way down to 240 to 250. Looking both on that at the 382 on the log scale, which happens to be the 618 on the linear scale, moving ourselves from the bottom to the top, down here to the 618. If we can find ourselves down here, I'm going to be getting leaps. You could be getting some equity on this as well, but this is another example of just what can happen on an explosive move to the upside. You can get this guy at 60 bucks, then out of nowhere, it skyrockets, and you find yourself up 876% out of nowhere. This started, obviously it started after COVID hit, and now we're kind of, reverting back to the mean. I expect a bounce here. And again, possible that this guy does make its way up to 1,000. Maybe it stops at 711. We don't know. We'll wait and see. On the log scale, which is what I'm basing a lot of this off of. That negative 236 is sitting right there at $1,000. All right, guys, that's what I've got for you right now. It's 5:30, and I'm going to go and I'm going to cook some dinner, and I'm going to wait and see, what happens in the next day or two in the markets. Right now, people are afraid. I'm not really afraid, but I did move a lot to cash. Crypto is still looking okay. I've still got a lot in some alts, just waiting for Bitcoin to kind of do its thing up at about 40K. We'll kind of wait and see what happens. If this video did help in any way, shape, or form, like, subscribe, share. If you need access to our Discord, the link is in the video description to get access to the Discord. And of course, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a good day.